Good evening, everybody. I'm Claudio, and this is Top Shelf Tuesday. As you can see tonight, I brought a guest with me, Clay Cooper, while we discuss what would Claudio buy for a black tie event. Clay has joined us, Govberg Jewelers, back in June 2017.
Hello.
So I'm always talking about coming to visit us and meet some of the watch experts that work for Govberg Jewelers. Clay Cooper is our resident expert on high complications. A little bit about Clay. He is a fashion enthusiast, as you could tell, quite snazzy tonight.
He's too kind.
He's an art lover, a musician, and as I said, he joined us back in June 2017 after many years working in the diamond business. He's a watch enthusiast. He can tell you anything and everything that you'd like to know about watches. So come join us, meet him someday, and welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure to have you. So today's topic and what we're going to discuss tonight is basically what would we buy if we were going to be attending a black tie event. As you saw, the Emmys were just last week. If you want to go to the theater, the opera, the ballet. So that's basically what gave us the idea tonight, the theme as to what the show is going to be about. So before we get into the watches, I'd like to do a quick watch check. I have just received my Roger Dubuis Excalibur 45 2-counter chronograph.
I know you were missing that one.
I was missing this watch. I want to thank Ruby and everybody at Roger Dubuis North America who got this watch so quickly onto my wrist again. And as I said, this is one of my favorite movements. And there it is with that beautiful micro rotor, the Poinçon de Genève finish movement. Obviously, a piece of art. And Clay, why don't you tell us about what you're wearing tonight?
I have a vintage Patek Philippe on this evening. This is the 3919 hobnail bezel Calatrava in white gold. Manual wind movement, white dial. Just a very simple watch, but with all the right details in all the right places.
Perfect piece to complement our segment tonight.
Love it.
All right, so as I said, when we were coming up with an idea on tonight's show, we said, what could we do? What could we do in terms of being creative to offer you, our wonderful audience, something interesting to watch? So we said, well, let's take a look at our complications,
Absolutely.
Specifically from one of our favorite brands, Patek Philippe. Mm-hmm. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So the lineup tonight is 3 watches, and the first watch that I'd like to introduce is the 5078 P-010. Take a look at that. So this is a platinum case, black lacquer, Roman numerals, 38 millimeter case. It's a very thin case because it's 11 millimeters thick. You've got the domed bezel, really nice and just basic tang buckle. Can you see that? There it is. And I have a close-up shot in the left-hand corner of the screen for those of you that want to see a frozen shot of the timepiece. This is a self-winding. It's the caliber R27 PS. It's a beautifully finished off movement. Now, interesting enough, I thought I wanted to share with you, the R stands for répétition minute, 27 is the millimeter of the actual movement, and PS stands for petit second. The minute repeater chimes with 2 gongs, which I'm going to engage in just about a minute. It also is interchangeable fullback or sapphire crystal. So if you want to cover up the movement, which I don't know why you would, you can do that. You could even have it engraved. And in true Patek Philippe fashion, you've got that Calatrava cross at the top of the piece. And this is also one of the first Patek sealed in-house movements. Prior to this, they were using the Poinçon de Genève, aka Geneva seal. Now, take one more look at the front of the dial before we engage the minute repeater. There it is. It's that beautiful black dial with those white hands, and I really love those Roman numerals.
I just want to bring up one quick thing. There are a lot of watchmakers who do these kinds of dress watches. There are a lot of watchmakers who do these kinds of simple designs. Nobody does it to this level of vividness and that crispness in the watch. I mean, everything is just finished so exactly and so perfectly.
Yeah, and it's a perfect watch if you're going to be wearing a tuxedo. Matches quite well with the black and white. But let's get into the actual sound of this beautiful minute repeater, or in French, like they say, the répétition minute. Another little known fact, and actually I was able to discuss this with our horological expert Tim Masso and everybody's favorite watch enthusiast. Just prior to the show, we discovered that Daniel Quare created the minute repeater back in the 1680s. And one of the reasons for its creation was prior to luminova, street lamps, or even just having any sort of light in darkness, you were able to chime the hours, the minutes on your timepiece. Before I put this watch away, I want to basically show you the minute repeater activated one more time, since we didn't get that from start to finish. I'm using a Selvig cloth because I really don't want to touch the metal. Beautiful sounding. I mean, this is really a very understated, very simple watch. But for me, for $325,000, if I'm going to go with a basic, very simple, and one of the most classic timepieces, I'm going to go with this Patek Philippe 5078-010, which we actually do have, and it's pre-owned, and our retail price for this timepiece is $325,000. So that's watch number one. Watch number two, which we've talked about before, and I'll let Clay introduce this masterpiece.
This is the 5102G. We are the white gold celestial. This is what we're talking about when we're talking about statement pieces. This is probably the antithesis aesthetically to what we just looked at. We're talking about a watch that has tons of bells and whistles, tons of punch, and something just really incredible to look at. The 43 millimeter case, we're in white gold here with the engraved kind of tessellated Calatrava cross pattern all around the outside. And the watch is controlled by two crowns on the right-hand side of the watch, one at 2 o'clock, one at 4 o'clock. The movement, caliber 240. We're looking at a tried and true automatic movement. It's actually celebrating its 40th birthday this year. But again, another micro-rotor Patek Philippe movement that allows them to pack a lot of punch in a very small space. As far as setting and operating the watch, our crown at 2 o'clock is going to operate the same way as most any other automatic movement. We'll wind while we're in, pull the crown, and then set our day-to-day time. The bottom crown is where we really show off the mechanics of this watch. The bottom crown is used to set the moon, showing the moon phase all the way around the rest of the watch here. Turning the crown towards you will actually set the sky map.
While you're doing that, I just want to point out, I mean, these watches are so much better looking in person, and especially with this dial, you can look at it from different angles and you catch different colors, different accents of blue, and then you've got that beautiful gold accents, the moon phase. It really is a spectacular piece, and it goes really well with what you're wearing today, that's for sure.
Hey, black tie doesn't always mean black. Obviously, you know, if you're at the theater, the ballet, you know, your charity fundraiser gala, you're going to see a variety of different outfits, different styles, different ways people will express themselves. But in terms of tuxedo and black tie, you know, something like the minute repeater we looked at with that vivid black lacquer dial. Hey, your black tuxedos, your gray tuxedos. Something like this, we can get into the midnights and the navies and really have a showstopper on the wrist.
So I want to talk. I want to actually answer some of the live chats, and we want to thank everybody for watching us live. This is a live show.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Nicolas just asked, what's the price of that masterpiece? So the minute repeater, the 5078 P010 is retails at pre-owned price for $325,000. The Celestial, that 5102G-001, which Clay just showed us, we have it pre-owned for about $175,000. One of the things to add, Patek Philippe made these Celestial watches back in 2002 up until 2012. So I believe it's discontinued model right now. So
it's not current production in this incarnation. So Patek Philippe doesn't do a lot of limited pieces because, well, all of their pieces are inherently limited. Especially something this complicated, something this intricate. This is not really a watch for everybody, and it's a watch that you know, we have a certain degree of exclusivity just because of the complications alone, but then the design with it as well. It's something really exceptional.
When we were looking for watches for this show, Clay and I were running around. It was almost like two kids in a toy store or a candy store, like woo! So yeah, we were really happy to get these pieces and to be able to show them to you. But you can only do so much over video. That's why we always say, please come and visit us. And I want to thank everybody who's been coming by and visiting us thanks to the show. Come down, meet Clay. He's a super knowledgeable watch connoisseur. There you go, our phone numbers, both of our email addresses are down there. Set an appointment with us. Come meet the rest of the crew, and hopefully we'll have Clay in a couple more segments coming in the future. But we'd love to meet all of you, so please come down to 1521 Walnut Street, not 1921 like I've said before, 1521 Walnut Street in Center City, Philadelphia. We'd love to meet you, but most importantly, we'd love to actually show you these pieces in person. It's completely different than seeing on camera. I know many of you are looking or watching our shows on your smartphones or on your iPads, even on your computers, but I would say in person, completely different story. So those are the first two pieces. I'd like to get onto the third piece, and this was actually we wanted to round it out. So we have a platinum piece, we have a white gold piece, and I thought in order to sort of round out this collection on the what would Claudio buy or hashtag WWCB, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. It's Top Shelf Claudio. This is basically where we're going to be updating everybody and taking screenshots and sort of having more storyline. The third piece is the Patek Philippe 5270R-001. So this is a perpetual calendar chronograph. I've always loved this complication.
Absolutely.
Right? You've got everything you need in a timepiece.
This is Patek Philippe high complication from a mile away.
All right, so here is the watch for all of you people who tuned in to see the hardware and less of us. And as I said, the color, I mean, it's a rich rose gold color, 18 karat. It's a perpetual calendar. The timepiece is 41 millimeters round. It's 12.5 millimeters thick. You've got the concave bezel. It's a very high polished case, so there's no matte finishing. It's super shiny. You've got the central second for the chrono. As opposed to an earlier model, this one actually does have the tachometer. You've got the day-date aperture, which I've always loved on watches. It's just a great sort of window to the movement, and it shows the date in a nice fashion.
This is where the level of finishing with Patek Philippe really comes into play. This is a lot of information on a dial. It's a tachometer, it's a day, it's a month, it's a date with hand, it's 2 chronograph registers, it's a moon phase, it's a leap year indicator. There's a lot going on the dial.
Sing the gospel.
Well, but any part of this dial, if it was finished improperly or left rough around the edges, could make this thing look real busy and sloppy really quick. Instead, we've got tons of information, and the dial just looks super clean, super crisp, very, very high class.
Absolutely. The caliber is the 29-535 PSQ, which stands for Petit Second Quantième Perpetuel, and it is the in-house Patek Philippe caliber. It also is one of the first Patek Philippe seals, so once again, when they stopped using the Poinçon de Genève. It's a manual wound, and it has a 65-hour power reserve. Manual wound, you're thinking, well, I'm a big fan of automatic watches, but when you see this movement, kind of reminds me of my own Roger Dubuis, the RD78 movement, in terms of just the beauty of the design, the finishing, all of the intricacies of this timepiece. I mean, it's fantastic. So you almost want to wear this backwards. It's a 41 millimeter case, so it would go great with the tuxedo. It has this really, really nice feature where you can do the quick release on the strap. So right now it's on a brown strap, but I would love to put it on a black strap if I were wearing my tux. Blue, whatever, like
Burgundies. Burgundies and purples would be amazing with that rose gold case.
And of course the famous Calatrava, sorry, just want to get that, there it is, the deployant buckle. This watch retails, and it's available here. The retail for pre-owned is $165,000. By the way, all of our pre-owned pieces, we have a 15-month guarantee.
Absolutely.
So whenever you buy a pre-owned timepiece from Govberg Jewelers, we stand by it. Some of the pieces are actually refurbished to the point where they're almost brand new. And so I always tell people, if you can live with the fact that somebody enjoyed it before you, it may have a box, may not have a box, may have its original guarantee, but I think the point is on something like this is something that you want to wear, and if you can actually find one, you know, definitely take a look at it. So we did pretty good tonight, no?
It's fun.
We covered 3 expensive watches.
Well, and there are 3 watches that I feel like they serve a dual purpose. They have a purpose for their owner and a purpose for their viewer. You know, with the minute repeater, we've got this gorgeous black lacquer dial, but the sound and the chime just for the owner. With the Celestial, you know, you've got a more substantial case and the engraving for the viewer, but for the owner, that sky map and the moon face, something to be enjoyed every day. With this perpetual calendar and chronograph, obviously, just that amazing look from the dial itself. But for the watch connoisseur, that view of the movement in the back, there's just really nothing like it.
I want to touch on the live chat again. Where is it? Nana asked me, can you tell any difference between the platinum and white gold on the watches? For the most part, yes, but in these pieces, no. This is a really delicate, small, thin watch, so you don't feel the weight of the platinum. So in this particular case, no, but for the most part, yes, you can always You can always tell when something is platinum or gold. Yes, my chair is very uncomfortable, LOL. And Julianne, we'd love to come to London. Rinja Zeitwerk is definitely a gem of a watch.
Absolutely.
We're going to be talking about Lange in future episodes.
Very, very soon.
We had a gem with us, but we weren't ready to show it just yet. We needed to prepare. So today's show is all about Patek Philippe, black tie. What would Claudio buy? Maybe we need to add a C. What would Claudio and Clay buy if they were attending a black tie event?
Black tie events with Claudio and Clay.
So before we end, I just wanted to say thank you all for tuning in. We really appreciate your support. We love your comments. We love your ideas and suggestions. Half the shows that I've come up with have been created by you, our viewers, so we want to thank you all for your support.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Please come into the store, 1521 Walnut, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I also want to remind everybody, please download the Watchbox app. It's a great tool. It gives you all the news. It gives you all the live. If you want to enter your collection into the app to see what it's worth, to see what they're selling for. It's just a really, it's an important tool. So if you consider yourself somebody that's into watches or collecting, download the Watchbox app. Clay, is there anything you want to say before we end the show?
No, this was fantastic. This was a lot of fun and a good chance to play with some of the watches that got me into watches.
It's his first time. He's a star in the making. I want to thank all of you for tuning in live. Don't forget, this and every Tuesday, Top Shelf Tuesday. Thank you very much, and have a good night.